Welcome back to the Locker Room Readout. I'm your co-host, Chris Murray, along with Irie Harris and the lovely and beauteous Sapphire Blue. Okay, well, guess who has to play those Detroit Lions next? Them are Cleveland Browns. But before we get to that, before we get to them our Cleveland Browns, we gotta make some money, pay the bills and whatnot. So let's go ahead. Okay, so are you looking for a relaxing getaway where you can play all day and escape the tedious grind of life? Then plan your getaway today at Lakecrest Casino and Hotel, Ardmore's premier gaming destination, and let the winning begin. Featuring more than 1,000 of the latest games, plus an array of amenities, including an incredible restaurant, exceptional retail experiences, and a resort-style pool. Lakecrest offers everything you need for an unforgettable escape and a winning experience. Book your stay today and go all in on one of the area's most exciting destinations, Lakecrest Casino and Hotel. Visit lakecrestcasino.com. That's lakecrestcasino.com. Ladies and gentlemen, I gotta say, the Cleveland Browns, and can we bring out the cheer machine for the Cleveland Browns?
Clap it up.
Yeah,
Clap it up.
We got
yeah.
Cleveland Browns.
Clap it up.
Upset.
We know you want to. Why are you smiling like you don't want to clap it up? Clap it up a little bit more. Come on. First win of the season.
This is one of the greatest
win of the season.
Of the NFL season. The greatest week.
And they defeated the Green Bay Packers from everybody because of Michael Parsons was touting as a Super Bowl contender. And in a bizarre and indirect way, at least in my opinion, gives us hope because one Super Bowl contender got upset by a team they shouldn't have lost to, and of course the other Super Bowl contender got their rear ends handed to them by a team that that's just as good. So so the team that beat the Detroit Lions. Like I say, a team that beat the Detroit Lions lost to the Cleveland Browns. And I got to ask you guys, you all were there, what in the Sam hell happened with that in that game that gave the Browns a chance? Well, I know it had to be Myles Garrett in the defense. That's the one thing I said. What happened? I'll go to Irie first since he's our man at the ballpark at the Cleveland.com. So while you were in your press box watching that game, I was in my press box, trying to figure out how the Eagles were going to pull out of their game out. But what was going on in along Lake Erie, that beautiful lakefront stadium?
Yeah, it was definitely nothing but foot on gas.
Well, wait, you got to press pause. You got to turn up that volume. You got to turn it up. You're being a little passive. I can't quite hear you, Irie Harris.
Good Lord. What are you saying? I can't hear you. Sound off like you got a pair.
Okay. All right. What happened was they let the dogs out. They decided, you know what, we're gonna, and that's really the one thing that I got a feeling of. This it's not a victory lap, nothing of that sort at all. I'm just saying what was implied to me, and I got the feeling during training camp was that this was a team that was going to continue to fight regardless of what the scoreboard was. And it is cliche, I admit. It was cliche, but after last season, you look for little things like that. And even with the prediction I gave him of 6 wins, that's what I felt. And I could see that. I could feel that when they were talking. And it really came through because the defense won that game. They did not stop. They did not care that it was looking to be a shutout of 10-0. They kept their foot on the gas at all times. 5 times was Jordan Love sacked. 5 times. And I mean, it's amazing because there's really it's not even much to say when you talk about how good this defense was. Grant Delpit's interception, the way that he read that route, the way that he read that play and saw Love trying to pass it to Wicks, he read it to a T, and he tried to take it back. He gained 25 yards on that. He was stopped right. He was stopped 4 yards short of the end zone. And I'm thinking about it like per next gen stats, Love entered week 3 leading on quarterbacks and completed air yards at 8.6. He ranks 6 and time to throw at just 3.02 seconds. That's just through the first 2 weeks. Week 3 alone, he only spent pretty much half of that. 2.6 seconds in the pocket, and he only completed 2.5 air yards compared to 8.6 that he got through the first 2 weeks. I mean, it all just led to the post game in which Packers head coach Matt LaFleur, and I was there, and I couldn't believe it. And he literally said, and I quote, "I've got a lot of respect for defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz. He was better than us today, better than me specifically." He pretty much admitted that he was outcoached. Enough said. So yeah, it was the defense and then the offense carry over that same tune and that same film. But what also got better is what Sapphire, I will give props to, has been mentioning multiple times in regards to Quinshon Judkins, because when you got a guy like that who runs nothing,
come on, bring it.
The only direction he knows how to run is north, and doesn't even look or think or like to run south. He is only going to go that way. And exactly. And he really showed that. You ask me, Sapphire, you're going to love this. And I put this in my article to my winners and losers. I said the comeback started with Judkins, because after the Packers scored and went up 10-0 in that series, Cleveland's next series, even though it ended on a field goal, Judkins earned that 38-yard run on that second play to place Cleveland at the Green Bay 28. 62 of his 94 total rushing yards came in that final quarter. And, of course, he counted for the only Browns touchdown as well, too. And right now, believe it or not, because and this is just a side note, Judkins specifically, he's only played 2 games, right now, because obviously he missed week 1, everything going on off the field. Yet he is still 10th at the moment among all qualifying running backs in yards after contact at 110 through 2 games. Everybody else has already played 3, and he's still top 10 through those 2. He is a shiny component within his offense. There's no reason why they shouldn't look to feed him even more and more versus Detroit. But that's my spill for now. Thank you as to what led to that win. I'm sure other stuff will come up in mind. Sapphire, take over.
I mean, listen, I'm riding with you as well in this segment. By the way, Irie Harris's article, The Winners and Losers, you will find on our X at TLRRO-FTN. That's at TLRRO-FTN. That's the locker room readout for y'all over there in Asia. Okay.
Was that loud enough for you? Loud enough for you?
We have subscribers in Hong Kong.
Oh, absolutely. You guys don't. Y'all got
that's true. That's true. Yeah, they listen to us in Hong Kong.
Yeah. Ni hao.
Okay, say it again. Ni hao. So, but listen, I mean, it's the truth. And here's where I'm at. Chris, to your point, look, we're going to Detroit this week. They're not coming to the land. We're going up to our cousins in the north, right? My concern is what Irie just pointed out. We have the answer in Quinshon Judkins, because what we saw is that Joe Flacco is still struggling. He's struggling. He turned in another mediocre experience. It was almost like
he's only 93 years old.
It's like they threw the white towel in the ring, like they used to do, Chris, back in the boxing days, and they're like, just give Quinshon the ball. Look what happened. And my concern also is Kevin Stefanski seems to be an analytics guy.
Oh yeah, that oh my God, he's put it.
He is.
Yeah, offensive minds, analytics naturally overlaps with that.
He is the sports equivalent of a policy wonk, and you and I both know some of them in DC. Okay,
we do.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, there are some guys who are good at numbers and percentages, but to quote the late Jim Otto, the Oakland Raiders, football's a game for men, not for babies. Football is a game where you play, although now women are starting to play. But I'm just saying that you know what, you gotta go out there and at the end, you gotta blow the house down, even if you have to use a stick of dynamite to do it. Mm-hmm. And basically, at the end of the day, I don't. And I tell you all the time, Sapphire. I tell you all the time, Irie. I don't like Estefan. I mean, that's his father, but I don't like Stefanski as the head coach and everything. I don't like him. I don't like him as the head coach of the Cleveland Browns because again, they have no clue of what to do on offense. If they were smart, they would they should just, we're rebuilding anyway. Let Dylan Gabriel take his snaps. Or dare I say Shador. I know that ain't happening, but I'm just saying.
No, because let's be real about what you just said. We should expect to see Dylan if Joe Flacco starts this game. I wouldn't even give him half of the first quarter before they, remember the Chuck Ferris Gong Show, Chris?
Well, yeah. Gong Show, they fight each other.
No, seriously. The book comes out. Yeah. Because let's be clear about this. This is not the type of competitor that we can wait 3 quarters to make a decision about what's working and what's not. Like Detroit will put points up on that board. Okay.
Right.
And when I look at Flacco, and it's not just solely all about him, because I do believe it's the play calling.
Yeah.
But you look at his game logs over the first 3 games. Okay. His average yards, has gone from 6.4 down to 3.9.
Yeah.
His completion percentage has dropped 10% from that first week. Yep. And his average yards is attenuated more than 50%. Like there's something going on there. There's something wrong there. Irie, speak on that.
Well, I was going to just add on to that and mention you can't forget about his 3.8 completed air yards, which is tied for the second fewest per next gen stats. If you really want to go there with that, yeah, I think it does seem kind of backwards because you have this offense, obviously West Coast influence favors the short, quick passes, especially right there along the line of scrimmage. A majority of his pass systems, I believe, have been amongst the line of scrimmage or with no more than 0 to 9 yards. But then at the same time, if somebody says, "Yeah, well, he's 40, so we got to get it out quicker." Why put all your eggs in a basket then for this 40-year-old man? Why even do that in the first place? So that's one. But I also do just want to point out 2 other things as well too, when it pertains to this. Whether or not it's Flacco or Gabriel, Shador, they have quite the O-line that in front of them.
He's
because
running church right now, Chris. This is church. Sit back, listen.
You have the guards. You still have your guard tandem, Joe Bitonio, Wyatt Teller, Ethan Pocher right there at center. Out of respect, Teller is really decreasing in productivity. He's looking a tad bit slower. I'm sure. And look, I'm sure these guys are playing through injuries that are nabbing, probably not fully recovered from the offseason. But right now, it is what it is, and they're not doing the job in my eyes, especially within the tackle position. Sapphire, I'm very sorry. DeJuan Jones is out for the season. Obviously, the knee injury.
It's that gut. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, I'm sure it probably has to do or connects to that. But now I'm really thinking like, man, because the tackle position has been so tedious for them in recent seasons. So Jones is out. Jack Conklin is still and recovering from that right elbow injury, which has kept them out the last 2 weeks. Then you got their backups. Cornelius Lucas, Pro Football Focus leads all bloggers and quarterback pressures allowed at 19. That's your swing tackle. Then you got KT Levinston, second-year guy who's getting his first, really getting his feet wet, first action. And when he came in for Jones, Flacco was only sacked on Sunday. I have to give him that. He was only sacked twice. However, Levinston was the main culprit. That first sack, he straight up allowed Green Bay's Rashawn Gary. He gave him the red carpet runway through the B gap. That second time, he could have been called for a hold.
I wish
somebody say Ole along the way.
They didn't go Ole. I wish you had that video to show to demonstrate.
Hold on. Wait. I got it. You know what?
You pull that up? Pull
that video.
Listen, as far away from the Brown Stadium that you and I were on Sunday, Chris, we saw that hole in that B gap.
Mm-hmm.
Here you go. Walk us through this, Irie.
Look at that. Yeah, man. He just, I guess somebody saying, ole, 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 ole.
Right here, right here. Look at
Look
that.
at that. Right
Joe
there.
Flacco, he didn't even drop back. He didn't have a chance to look up.
He didn't even have a chance. Look
Mm,
at that. The
mm,
second
mm,
he even turned around, his
mm,
man was
mm.
already flew by. So
You know,
you get
and
it.
that's the
But
thing. That's the thing. Let me just jump on this right quick.
go ahead,
Right?
go ahead.
You mentioned Batonio, Pochick, and Teller, right? That's our center and the guards. You look at their PFF, right? Which is like in the mid 60s.
Oh, she cooking now. Oh shoot, let me get
I'm
back.
just saying, I'm just saying, you look at their overall PFF grade, which is in the mid 60s. There are 3 tiers to how those scores are ranked. Backup is from 60 to 69, which means below average performance. That's the Browns' big 3 on that line.
It is. It is. Yeah. So they
Which, to
have.
your point, is more the reason why. Listen, this is the experiment. Just put the Young Bucks in there.
Yeah. It also just adds more question as to their. So he says back in late April, because that was my
Mhm.
biggest takeaway. I'm thinking, wait, they're not going to draft an old lineman. It was decimated last
Hello.
year. And
Yep.
don't let me get started on the receiving core, because had they drafted a wide receiver, that would have made it 6 straight years that they had taken one, but they
Yep.
did not, but decided not to when they probably needed it most. Don't get me started on the drops right now too. By the way, 6 drops. Jerry Judy already has half of them, but I digress. Let's focus on the shining player, the shining kicker that is Andre Smith. Sapphire, 55-yard game winner. That had to make you happy. We have to give him that shout out.
I'll
Chris,
be
you,
honest
you
with
saw it
you.
too, right?
I want to tell you something.
Yeah.
There's no shame in my game, as Missy Elliott is on record. I was so emotional. I couldn't even watch it. I had to listen to it on the radio. I had to walk away from the television. And when I tell you I was emotional, the people around me were like, "What just happened?" And I'm like, somebody pinched my cheek. I couldn't believe it. Because we know how historically those games, the outcome of those games
Yeah.
have gone.
Yeah.
So I'm just very happy they figured it out. It was ugly, but Chris, as you and I have talked about, you don't get style points in football, do you?
You just win, baby, and it's also good to know that, and I say this for everybody, that that the sun can shine on a dog's ass at least once in a blue moon. Because that's almost like me, playing street basketball and imitating Isaiah Thomas when he shot a 3-pointer off of one leg. I did that in the horse game once, and that's the only time that ever happened. And the sun was shining that day. The sun was shining on my ass that day. That's what it was, and that's often a rare occurrence. And so, and I gotta say, there's a couple things I gotta say for this. This is why, but that game is perhaps another reason why that teams are still trying to find their greatness and all that, because I saw another team in Philadelphia kind of go through some ups and downs. But in any event, the Cleveland Browns have a win. They're 1-2. When we come back here, I want to talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I want to talk about the fact that they are, I don't have much respect for them at 2-1, but everybody else does. So ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to the Locker Room Readout on the BGC Sports Network.